Is accelerating at an alarming pace, and recent storms have made the situation worse. Before we can have a conversation about maintaining our streets, we have to deal with the roads that need to be entirely reconstructed.
Construction of a $15 million Burbank Airport North Metrolink station got underway at the northwest corner of Hollywood Way and San Fernando Boulevard, with completion slated for the spring of 2018. Officials say this project will provide a better, faster, and more seamless rail connection between Burbank Airport and the Metrolink commuter rail system. The station, located between the Sun Valley and downtown Burbank stations, will be on Metrolink's Antelope Valley line. The airport is already served by a station on Metrolink's Ventura County line. Both of those lines serve Union Station in downtown Los Angeles. Some lucky daughters and fathers came together to bond over tea and goodies as the 5th annual Father-Daughter Tea kicked off, and Marco shows us the deeper meaning behind the festive party.
It all looks so pretty in pink as more than 100 dads took some girl time out with their daughters for the Father-Daughter Tea.
Fathers have the opportunity to really engage in conversation, see how their daughters are doing, and check in with them. And so something that they can do at home. They will not have to go to some fancy restaurant. They can sit right in their front yard.
It's just a time for fathers and daughters to get together and build their relationship.
This is the 5th annual Father-Daughter Tea put on by a group called Project Fatherhood. Sure, there's fingernail painting. Some of the dads even try to enjoy that. Then there's tiaras, tea, coloring, drawing, picture taking, and lots of time for TLC.
Well, for me, I like drinking the tea. My daughter, she loves getting her nails done.
But Project Fatherhood also has a more serious mission to help dads in the inner city, many who have never had good role models themselves, get back in touch with their children.
I'm here with my 2 little beautiful daughters. They're Mary Jane and Selena. They're 3 years old, doing decorations and having fun, having a little tea party.
Many of these fathers were really beat down growing up, whether by parents, whether by the social system, they were beat down negatively.
But today, all was positivity and fun. And what a fantasy day for these little girls. Time with Dad and a new dress. Wow. The girls also got a chance at a bike raffle, and all of them got an American Girl doll and a tea set, which means the girls can now invite Dad to a tea party at home anytime. I'm Anna Marcos for LA This Week.
The toys were donated by Mattel and other toy companies. Project Fatherhood, by the way, also holds father-son bowling and father-family hiking events to help dads bond with their families. I'll learn all about the artwork inside the Metro rail system. History comes alive at the Wattles mansion and helps celebrate Earth Day in Toluca Lake. All this in this week's Things to Do. Metro Art Moves is a free series of regularly scheduled and special tours of art walk in the Metro rail system. Regular tours are led by trained Metro Art Docent Council volunteers and provide insights into the artworks, artists, and art-making processes. Special tours heighten the passenger experience in novel and engaging ways through the perspective, experience, and knowledge of artists and cultural experts. Tours are free and reservations are not required. See the tours in action on April 1st from 10 to 12 p.m. beginning at the Hollywood Highland Metro Station. For more, visit metro.net. The spring of 2017 marks the 2nd year of the Wattles Mansion Designer Showcase. The theme will demonstrate through interior design how to reinterpret a historic home for today's contemporary lifestyle. The title of this year's showcase is Hollywood History, the New Classics. The Wattles Mansion was built in 1908 and was the original home of famous financier Gurdon Wattles, who bankrolled much of early Hollywood. Today, the residence, owned by the City of Los Angeles Department of Recreation and Parks, comprises the only remaining example of a pre-film industry Hollywood estate. The showcase takes place through April 16th. For more information, visit wattlesshowcase.com. The Greater Toluca Lake Neighborhood Council is hosting its 6th annual Earth Day celebration featuring Taste of Toluca. Bring the entire family and enjoy the Kids Corner. Engage with environmental booths and taste the amazing food while listening to live entertainment. Shop local merchants and contribute to the environment by adopting a tree. The event will take place at the Toluca Lake Farmers Market behind the Wells Fargo building on Riverside and Foreman on Sunday, April 2nd from 10 to 2 p.m. And that's a look at some things to do. Well, that's going to do it for this edition. I'm Yana Kane from all of us here at LA This Week. Thanks for joining us. A reminder that you can catch us online at lacityview.org. You can also follow and like us on Facebook. We'll see you back here next week for more of LA This Week.
911 emergency, operator 271.
The city of Los Angeles receives over 2 million 911 calls every year. Hello, I'm Mayor Eric Garcetti.
I'm Chief Charlie Beck. A significant number of 911 calls are not emergencies.
911 should be used for emergency calls, such as preservation of life, a crime in progress, prevention of a crime, or a public hazard.
If your call is not an emergency, such as a loud party, verbal dispute, public nuisance, or lost or missing property, you can dial 1-877-ASK-LAPD to have the police respond.
Remember, call 1-877-ASK-LAPD for non-emergency calls.
Los Angeles Police Department, what are you reporting?
Hi, I'm Gina Ray, and this is my dog Whippet. We're from Winnetka. Get it, girl. You're watching LA City View, Channel 35. This is our city and our channel.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. Shh. If I could ask everyone to please take their seats. Today is Friday, March 31st. I want to welcome each and every one of you to your Los Angeles City Council. This council meets every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday. The public is welcome. Madam Clerk, we do have a quorum. Would you call a roll?
Blumenfield, Bonin, Buscaino, Cedillo, Englander, Harris, Dawson, Weezer, Koretz, Clankhorn, Martinez, O'Farrell, Price, Rue, Wesson. 14 members and a quorum, Mr. President.
Thank you. First order of business.
Approval of the minutes.
Ms. Martinez moves and Mr. O'Farrell seconds. Next.
Commendatory resolutions for approval.
Mr. Cedillo moves and Mr. Harris Dawson seconds. Continue.
Items 1 and 2 are items noticed for public hearing.
Do you have cards on these items?
Yes, there are cards on both items.
Okay, then let's continue.
Items 3 through 5 are items for which public hearings have been held.
Specials members, let's prepare then to vote on these items. Let's, Madam Clerk or Mr. Clerk, open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
14 ayes.
Continue.
Items 6 through 15 are items for which public hearings have not been held. 10 votes are required for consideration.
Okay, so without objection, these items are now before this body. Do you have cards?
There are cards on all items except for 15.
Well, let's vote on 15.
Thank you.
That item, let's open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
14 ayes.
Thank you. Continue. Mr. Harris Dawson.
Mr. Chair, item 15C, forthwith, please.
Okay, without objection, so ordered.
Yes, hey, Erica, have the committee reports been circulated for 16?
Oh, for 6.
So that brings us where?
On the continuation agenda, item 16 is an item for which a public hearing has not been held. 10 votes are required for consideration.
Okay, so without objection, that item is now before this body. You have cards on this item as well?
Yes, there are cards.
Okay, that brings us where?
Mr. President, that takes council back to items called special or presentation.
Okay, thank you. Before we get started, I just want to take a moment. We have several special guests with us today, but I do want to acknowledge the Links Incorporated from Southern California and the Nevada cluster. Are you guys here? Please stand up. Let's give them a big round of applause. We have with us Roxanne Thomas Shaw, who is the Western Area Director. This great organization was founded back in 1946. It's Women of Color, has 280 chapters in 42 different states, in the United States and the Bahamas. It's been a phenomenal service organization for as long as I can remember. Let's give them one more round of applause. Also, my own Deborah Beavers this will give her longtime City Hall activist, City Hall person, lives in my district, great lady. Like I said, she lives in my district. So do you want me to bring you like some tea or some cake or anybody in my district? We will definitely wait on you. But would you like to say a word?
It is great to be on this side of the horseshoe after so many years, and the council is just moving forward. Herb, thank you so much for allowing us to come this morning. We're going to have a briefing in the mayor's chamber on key issues because we're rolling up our sleeves and we are transforming our communities, and I'd like our area director who is with us to make a few comments.
Well, welcome. Please.
Thank you, and thank you for having me this morning. It's my humble privilege to be here with you. I flew in from Houston, Texas, to share this time with you this morning. I'm very excited about the briefing that we'll be having in the mayor's office. We do amazing work in the Los Angeles community, and we want to make sure that we take it to the next level with current issues that are in front of us locally and also nationally. So I thank you for the opportunity to be of service to this great community, and I thank you for all the collaborators that work with the chapters that are here in the Los Angeles area. Thank you so much for having us this morning, and thank you for being open to collaborative work in the community that serves all of our citizens of Los Angeles. Thank you.
Thank you. Welcome.
Thank you.
Okay. Do we have an, speaking of our, so what we're going to do, it's really to the links. You've come on a very, very important and special day. This is our Pioneer Women Awards Day, so we're excited about this, and you're going to have an opportunity to be introduced to some phenomenal women of the greatest city in the world, which is Los Angeles. So I'm glad that you're here for that. With that said, I'm going to defer to Miss Martinez and ask Mr. Englander to please come up here. Yep, Miss Martinez, floor is yours.
Okay, good morning, colleagues. Good morning, colleagues.
Good morning.
Is the mic on? Good morning, colleagues.
Good morning.
Ready? Yeah, okay. Colleagues, today we close out Women's History Month. Throughout the month, we celebrated some great moments. From Latina History Day.
Excuse me.
Yes.
You guys know what bogarting is, or taking something over. I want to take this over for 2 minutes. Okay? Now, don't you go anywhere at all. Anyway, welcome to Los Angeles City Hall. Welcome to our chambers. This is a very special day for us, and we want to acknowledge Miss Martinez for year after year making sure that we have this very, very special Pioneer Women's Day in City Hall. But Miss Martinez, what the members of this council decided to do, we felt that it was very important that we as a council have the first Los Angeles City Council selected Pioneer Woman of the Year. So, Nellie, you are my friend and sister and a leader to each of us on this council. You have worked to ensure that the voice of women is not only heard in this chamber, but across the city. Today we salute you as the first Los Angeles City Council Woman of the Year. Signed, Council President Herb J. Wesson, Jr., 10th District.
Is there music? Is there a gift?
I will second that. And let me just say,
read the thing. We got a script.
You got a thing? Nobody gave me a thing. You got a script.
Maybe we should have had Nuri's office coordinate. Let's start with Mr. Bloomingfield. Mr. Bloomingfield.
From advocating for victims of human trafficking and making clear that there is no tolerance in the city for those who exploit children and teens, to standing up for environmental justice in the East San Fernando Valley, you have made your voice heard here in City Hall. Congratulations on this recognition as City Council's own Pioneer Woman for 2017.
Signed,
Councilmember Bob Blumenfield.
You'll know I wrote this one myself. In comic book terms, Nuri is the Wonder Woman of Los Angeles, a formidable shiro who models strength, toughness, and purity of heart to women and men and girls and boys alike. In struggle and in victory, there is no one I want on my side more than Nuri. Signed, Mike Bonin, Council District 11.
Councilwoman Martinez is not only a strong advocate for her constituents, but for all Angelenos. Her work to fight human trafficking and homelessness and advocate for women's rights are just a handful of examples of her dedication to helping others. Our city is very fortunate to have her presence and service. Councilmember Buscaino, we love you, Larry.
I want to get more women in here. You guys, what the heck?
I'm waiting for the flowers to arrive. Nuri, you know this to be true. There is nobody more deserving on the council to receive the Pioneer Woman of the Year award than you. Aside from being the only woman on the council, we're working on that, you alone have led the way on issues of gender equality, human trafficking, and the advancement of La Mujer in the daily lives of this council and of this city. Let me say to you from the 1st District, congratulations.
Councilwoman Martinez, you epitomize leadership of the highest quality. You utilize your intensely and profoundly powerful voice on behalf of your constituents and women across the city and region. You not only remind us every day that you are not a woman in a man's world, but instead a pioneer ushering in a new generation of women's leadership for Los Angeles.
Nuri, there's much more to say, but I was confined to read this by our council president. And I think we all had much more to say, but he said we should only read what we wrote on the resolution. Nuri Martinez is a trailblazer who wears many hats in her efforts toward improving lives. Leader, Angelino, Mexicana. But it is her absolute commitment to recognizing, uplifting, and inspiring girls and women and making sure elected bodies like the Los Angeles City Council are addressing the issues women face that make Nuri Martinez truly special and a pioneer woman each and every day. Congratulations.
You're supposed to say signed. I mean.
Okay, signed, Councilmember Jose Huizar, CD 14.
There's a reason for that. Come on, Koretz.
I've known Nuri since I was in the State Assembly when her husband Jerry was my Los Angeles labor representative. I've enjoyed watching her successful career as an elected official, and she is dynamic, inspirational, and passionate, and she's taken her role as the only woman and Latina on the Los Angeles City Council seriously to educate and elevate women, children, and immigrants. It's been a pleasure working alongside her. Signed, Johnny Cash. Or Paul Koretz.
Councilmember Martinez, it's been a joy to count you as a colleague, as a seatmate, and as a friend for all these years. You are a tireless advocate for the San Fernando Valley, and most importantly, a true inspiration for girls and for boys throughout the city of Los Angeles. Congratulations and thank you for all that you do. Signed, Paul Krikorian, council member for the 2nd District, on behalf of all of the residents of this CD2 in the East San Fernando Valley.
Courageous,
compassionate, determined. These are the words that come to mind when I think of my colleague, my friend, my seatmate, and on the Los Angeles City Council, Councilwoman Nuri Martinez, who inspires us to be pioneers in our own journey and to lead with confidence. And let me just add that Nuri Martinez is just plain kick-ass. Signed, Council Member of the 13th District, Mitch O'Farrell.
Nuri, you are a beacon of light and a fearless voice for women in the city of Los Angeles and beyond. Your commitment to fighting trafficking, ending sexual violence, and blazing a path for women to lead in any endeavor has been a remarkable gift for all Angelinos, and we are grateful. Congratulations from the new night.
To my friend Nuri Martinez, fear has never been in your vocabulary, and rightfully so. Your voice, leadership, and bravery are needed more than ever, especially during these trying times. Signed, Council Member of the 4th District, David Rue.
So this was actually done by design for me to wrap it up, and you kicked it right to me. You didn't get the final notes, Mr. Weston. But anyway, Councilwoman Martinez is not only a pioneer woman in the City Council, but also a role model for young girls across Los Angeles. She has led the city in fighting for women across Los Angeles, and I'm so proud to call her a friend and a colleague. Signed by Council Member Mitchell Englander, President Pro Tem of the Los Angeles City Council and District 12, but there's more. See, this is why I was going to go last, because I get to kick it over to somebody who wasn't in the script, Mr. President, and that is our mayor, Eric Garcetti.
Thank you, Mr. President. We have incredible women to hear from, so I'm going to make this short. I'd like to, by executive order, because we have good executive orders in Los Angeles, declare this to be Nuri Martinez Day in the city of Los Angeles. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you to all of the members. Thank you to the great mayor of this great city. But Ms. Martinez, the reason why we had everybody read something and say that they signed it is because what happened here, and I really have to thank our city graphics people and Joe Torres of my staff. This is the first and only proclamation to be created this way. No one else in the world has this type of, so it is my pleasure to present Ms. Martinez as the Los Angeles City Council's Pioneer Woman of the Year. Take a quick picture. All right. Oh, bang. Hey, can somebody help? Just, can you get this? Yeah. And I got you
Thank you so much.
a special orchid. Ladies and gentlemen, one more time for the first Los Angeles City Council Pioneer Woman of the Year, our own Nuri Martinez.
Well, you really did surprise me. That was good. That was good. Colleagues, thank you so much for the recognition. I know I'm tough on you sometimes, but it comes from a good place. It really does, and I know that we are all champions for our districts and the communities that we represent, but you have been nothing but inviting and encouraging throughout the last 3.5 years that I've served with you. So thank you so much for this beautiful recognition, Mr. President. You are more than my brother. You are one of my closest friends and allies, and I owe you a tremendous amount of gratitude for welcoming me from the very first day and making me feel as if though Not only I was the only woman, but making me feel like I was a real partner in trying to make our city work better. So thank you so much for you and your leadership. And on behalf of my staff, where's my staff? Say hello, guys. A lot of what we work out of a real commitment, not only to ensure that our district gets its fair share, but on behalf of the women. I have an enormous amount of pride and joy in my staff for everything that they do. The vision that we carry out day in and day out is because they work so hard. So I want to thank you guys. My CD6 family, thank you guys for hanging in there and putting up with all the crazy mess. But I didn't know you were doing this, or I would have brought my daughter.
They didn't know. Your staff knew and didn't tell you. All right? So I just got them in trouble. They know. Council District 6 knows how to keep a secret.
This was really good because I usually find everything out. So thank you very much. I want to go ahead and move forward with our Pioneer Women of the Year. We have a number of amazing women that we are all recognizing here this morning, so let's move on with our program. Colleagues, today we close out Women's History Month. Throughout the month, we celebrated great moments. From Latina History Day to the mayor's first ever gender equity conference to recognizing LAFDs for their strides towards closing the gender gap. And earlier this month, I was proud to invite women from across the city departments to join me in recognizing a day without a woman on International Women's Day. I was overwhelmed with the support and the engagement of so many women who help the city run every single day. People think we have a leadership gap, and we will often hear that we don't see enough women in leadership roles. I believe that the women are there, and many of them are serving their communities day in and day out. Just like within our city family, women are leading in so many areas across our city, whether they're in the classroom or whether they're running a nonprofit or their own business. And we have had a really tough year so far. After the presidential election, women were motivated to do something to make their voices heard. The Women's March in January brought over 4 million people from across our country to march for women's rights. And on a daily basis, women's rights groups continue to push the fight forward to ensure that their issues are not forgotten. And here locally, we use today to recognize the Los Angeles pioneer women that are impacting their communities. We have recognized a pioneer woman from each district, as well as 2 exceptional women who were chosen by the Commission on the Status of Women for their contributions in their respective fields. But before we introduce our honorees, I would like to welcome my friend and the mayor of the city of Los Angeles, Mayor Eric Garcetti.
Thank you so much, Nuri, and very good morning, everybody. Muy buenos días a todos. I just returned from Washington, and boy, is it good to be home. We shouldn't just be looking at a day or a month, but I hope that we have come to the place in the city where we honor women and incorporate a gender lens to everything that we do now. I'm so grateful to the Commission on the Status of Women for their incredible work, for making sure this event is permanently on our calendars. And when I was a council member, I always loved this. It is one of the longest events of the year, but every single chapter and each woman is rich with accomplishments and love for the city, and I always loved hearing each one of those stories. And just a couple weeks ago, our First Lady of the city, Amy Lane Wakeland, who is out of town or otherwise would be here, and I held the first State of the City address for girls and women, an idea that we had following on the first gender study done by Mount St. Mary's to look at the effects of our policies and our city on girls and women. And it was an incredible day. Janet was there, a whole bunch of people were there, about 1,200 young women from local schools and professional women that were there. And I got to say, we had some superstars, people like Lisa Ling and actors, but it was that fire marshal, it was that deputy chief at LAPD that the girls all wanted to take pictures with. It was inspiring them to see how this city is committed to making sure that at every level we are conscious of empowering girls and women with everything that we do. So it was Bigar Mala, Diana Trujillo, who's the chief of engineering at JPL, among others, who were the superstars. And Councilmember Martinez joined us there, and she spoke to a room filled with young women and said, women should be able to see themselves in public office. And in my lifetime, that's never felt more important. Because at this moment, when we see women's rights under assault in our country, what do we do in these urgent moments? We gather together. So this has been here every year, but I've never felt the power of this moment and the potential of this moment as much as I do today in these chambers. And I have to apologize to our nation's capital, but we had the largest march in the country right here in LA. 700. And I always say it was perverse to call it a march because it was like so crowded. We said, let's go one place and not move. Let's just stand next to each other gathering. But as I said out here about a block away in front of the hundreds of thousands of people that I spoke to, and many of you did, we will not be judged on what we say today, but what we do tomorrow. And if we care about women's rights today in that march, go tomorrow to the Downtown Women's Center where a survivor of domestic violence is living in a tent and help her get off the street. If we care about women's rights, let's do something about 13 and 14-year-old girls who are trafficked on Vermont and in the San Fernando Valley, and go with the Coalition to Abolish Slavery and Trafficking or another great organization to end that in our city. If you care about women's rights, get down to the airport today and help a refugee who is bringing her family in from a Muslim-majority country across incredible hardships and make sure that she gets to become an American. If you care about women's rights, run for office, whether it's your neighborhood council, city council, board of supervisors, Congress, and do the work that we need to see out there. And Councilmember Martinez and I have worked tirelessly to end slavery in our city, to work on greater gender equity, and I think all the progress that we have made, while it's very real, we have to do a lot more. I'm proud that this administration moved to not only gender parity, but to exceed gender parity for the first time ever for our boards and commissioners. 54% of our commissioners, and we had to thank a lot of really great guys who had a lot of really good years of service, but don't tell me you can't do this. And to the private sector, if the public sector, which is slow, could do that in the first 6 months of this administration, you can do it in leadership too. We gave an award to the head of our ITA department, Ted Ross, because when he looked at his upper management, he did something in a matter of months to make sure that in a profession that is traditionally male-dominated, technology, he has more than half of the senior managers now are women, and the largest group of programmers, I think, of any public entity, at least in the region, are women as well. So when we look for our lessons today, I just say listen. Listen to these women. They have much to teach, to share. Sure, for public safety, I talk to Chief Beck all the time, but I also talk to the women that founded the Watts Gang Task Force, because the wisdom that they have is as important as that of Chief Beck. They've got 40-plus years, too, of public safety experience, maybe not with the hash marks on a uniform, but certainly with the scars to show getting in front of bullets in their own community to make sure that there is peace. I've learned from Francine, who lives at the Downtown Women's Center. When I talk about homelessness, I consult our LASA folks and the professionals that work for us, but I also listen to Francine because her experience on the street informs the work that we have to do. So this is a universal value. Let us commit today to not just playing defense, but to desegregating gender, so that it isn't an issue area of many, like the environment, like housing, like poverty, but that it is a prism for everything that we do. We should never be not asking the question in anything that passes through here or that comes on my desk, what is the impact on men and boys, but also girls and women? How will they be affected by what we do? So I'm so excited to honor two folks today. I'll skip ahead here because I know we have a long staff. And I want to thank on my own staff, too, the women who lead, including my chief of staff, who's also out of town, Ana Guerrero, who's the first Latina to be a chief of staff in a major city mayor's office, and all the women who run so many departments, whether it's Kelly Bernard, who worked in economic development. I try to give women opportunities to be in traditionally male-dominated spaces where it's not expected. Our chief data officer, our chief technology officer, Jean Holm. But today we also celebrate the accomplishments, the physical accomplishments of our great athletes that are women. And in this country we have at least on the books that women and men's athletics should be on equal ground. Here in the city we found out, by the way, that just above 20% of the participants in our youth sports in our own parks were girls. And we looked at that, and that was very troubling. We asked why, and in certain families that were low income, It was sexism. It was, oh, I have a son and a daughter, the son should play sports, the daughter suffers. And this Department of Rec and Parks, our commission, and my administration with many of you are working. And within 2 years, the leadership of Mike Shaw will be into the 40s, hopefully, this coming year, without taking any spots away from any of the boys, by making sure that we have women that are there. But our investments locally in sports, think of the legacy of 1984. We ran a great Olympics, which is a recurring theme for us these days. But the money that we got from those Olympics seeded the LA 84 Foundation, that seeded programs like tennis in Compton, where two young girls certainly learned about tennis from a father who used to be a sharecropper and became two of the greatest tennis players in the world ever, the Williams sisters. These things matter. And so today we have two great athletes who are with us, who I want to honor. Janet Evans and Brenda Villa. They've won gold medals at the Olympics, and when they did that, it changed the course of history. Because I've seen it, and it must get some days tiring to talk about yourself all the time. But why it's important that you continue to do that is that there are girls out there who need to see themselves through your eyes every single day. Brenda is the most decorated athlete in women's water polo, and Janet is widely noted, yes, which Councilmember O'Farrell just said are the best athletes in the world because you have to keep yourself from drowning and play a sport on top of it for many, many minutes. And Janet is widely considered to be the greatest woman distance swimmer in history. And both of them have done such incredible work. It's not the only reason that they inspire me. I am in awe of them because they are passing their gifts on to other young women. So their legacy is cemented not only through the success that they have, but the success of others as well. Brenda coaches girls water polo at Castilleja High School in Palo Alto. Janet teaches swim clinics to young swimmers in the swim complex named for her. It's a nice place. She gets to park for free in Fullerton. And Janet and Brenda, thank you both for representing our state, our nation on an international stage and making us so proud. But thank you for remembering where you came from and giving that back. And Janet, a special thanks for being our vice chair of our LA 2024 bid. I leave tomorrow to make our second of 4 formal presentations to the Olympics. This will be in Denmark, and Janet will be there because she is a superstar. Let me tell you, she lights up the room. She is somebody who, people looked at her, they always underestimated her because she doesn't, look like the traditional Amazon swimmer. But she showed that if you swim faster, are more determined, and do it, it doesn't matter. You can win and you can be a champion. So to all the women that are here, congratulations, and I'd like to congratulate these two women, ask them to step forward for some applause as well. Are people speaking today? Janet, do you want to say something real? I'm going off script, but just for a moment. Ladies and gentlemen, Janet Evans.
No, neither can you. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you, Councilwoman Martinez, and congratulations to you, to the City Council, to everyone here today. I am humbled to be here. I am humbled to speak in front of these incredible women. I'm always humbled to speak in front of this guy. I'm always horrified to speak after him, so that in and of itself. As an Olympian who grew up as a young child watching the 84 games and decided sitting in that Memorial Coliseum that I wanted to be an Olympian, and I'm sure Brenda's story, we all have similar journeys. But to me, the City of Los Angeles was my inspiration. And to all of you, to the City Council for supporting our Olympic bid, because let me tell you, we want to bring the Olympic and Paralympic Games back to the City of Los Angeles because we want to have women represented. In our bid, we have equal representation with women. In our bid book to the International Olympic Committee, we have a section that speaks about women's rights at our Olympic and Paralympic Games. Women will have equal opportunities in our leadership roles. We will promote and make sure that female athletes from all over the world receive equal opportunities, equal locker room space, even equal space within their sports venues and also within the media as best we can. So women's rights are very important to the Los Angeles 2024 Olympic and Paralympic bid. bid, because I and all of us at the bid want to inspire a new generation of young girls and young women to not only be athletes, but to be anything they dream of when they watch those athletes, those female athletes, stand in front of the world and do incredible things. I believe that women and young girls will be inspired to do anything and be anything. And that's why we work so hard and fly to places like Denmark, because we are going to bring these Olympic Games home. So congratulations to all of you. Thank you very much for your support. I am honored and humbled. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you very much for joining us
Ms.
this morning.
Martinez.
Sure.
Mr. Herman, put the sign down. This is a very important presentation. It's not time for you to play around. Put the sign down. If I have to tell you again, you will be removed. Back to you, Ms. Martinez.
Thank you very much. And I also want to introduce a very special friend. I want to introduce the Commission of Status of Women President, Jessica Postigo, to introduce our two incredible women with their proclamations. Jessica?
Come on forward. Welcome.
Thank you, Council. Good morning. Thank you, Councilmember Martinez. I have to say, so much has been said today, but I think so much more can be said. You are fearless. You're an inspiration. We all say to girls, to the mother of two daughters, if you can see it, you can be it. And I love that you are being it, because you are being it gracefully, thoughtfully, with determination, with patience, and, excuse me for saying this, but always marvelously and beautifully. And we no longer have to burn our bras to be feminists, so I appreciate that. And thank you to the members of City Council and to the mayor for being such a leader for us and speaking for us. We were all very inspired by your inaugural State of Women and Girls. It just pushed us to want to work harder in a more collaborative manner, if possible. Thank you for inspiring us, and thank you to Amy Elaine Wakeland for being there for all of us. And we can't do it without all the men in the room as well. You are key to our success. So, as you know, the Pioneer Women's event is a signature event. We are in our 27th year. On behalf of the Commission, I'd like to congratulate the remarkable women in this room today for being recognized today and for representing communities across Los Angeles from diverse ethnic and professional backgrounds. The Commission on the Status of Women is especially proud to recognize two Olympic athletes. Brenda Villa, as has been mentioned, is the most a decorated athlete in the world of water polo. Janet Evans, thank you for continuing to inspire and to say that you can continue to get up and do it again, and do it always with joy and with pleasure, and for being involved in and highlighting in your arenas also the importance of female athletes and in the sports market as well. So the Commission, as you know, the Commission on the Status of Women is committed to advancing the general welfare of women and girls in Los Angeles. We're proud to have worked with Mayor Garcetti and the First Lady on a study, as you know, about women and girls. And it's the first data-driven report of its kind in the city that examines leadership, gender equity in demographics, leadership, education, workforce development, public safety, and female veterans. And if you will have us in the coming months, we would like to present to you a snapshot of the profile of women and girls within your district with some policy recommendations, which is a result of that report. Since the report has been launched, the Commission of the Status of Women has been focusing on launching multiple projects, and we continue to work closely with Nuri Martinez in the arenas of human trafficking, of female homelessness, domestic violence. We have the Crisis Text Hotline, which is a 24/7 intervention crisis text line, and we are proud to stand today with the women being recognized. I look forward to continuing to work with all of you, and that your successes will create a ripple effect for all the women and girls in Los Angeles. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Jessica. Thank you. All right, so I'm going to start us off. I'd like to thank you, and I'd like to introduce my honoree for Council District 6. Can I have Evelyn Gomez? Are you here? I saw you earlier. Come on up. Evelyn Gomez became the executive director of DIY Girls, an organization that is committed to increasing girls' interest and success in technology and engineering by creating an innovative educational experience and mentorship relationship. Like myself, Evelyn is a daughter of Mexican immigrants. She was born and raised in Los Angeles, and she is the first member of her family to attend college. After graduating from MIT with a bachelor's and a master's in aerospace engineering. Can we say that one more time? Aerospace engineering. That's pretty fabulous. Yes. Evelyn returned to Los Angeles as a teacher of mathematics, physics, and engineering at the high school and community college level. Now, as part of the DIY Girls, Evelyn is responsible for helping the organization to grow in order to serve more girls and to help cultivate their interest in creating and building technology. It's through these types of organizations that we will be able to build the next generation of women engineers, physicists, and scientists. Since 2012, DIY Girls have served nearly 400 girls through their programs and workshops, and 103 fifth-grade girls have participated in their after-school programs. What I find more appealing about this program is that it takes young girls, many of whom have immigrant backgrounds, take them at a crucial age, and expose them to technology. It is my hope that thanks to this program, we'll be able to see more young women from all over my district and all over our city and our neighborhoods develop the confidence to embark on careers in science and technology. Can we give Evelyn Gomez a big round of applause? Thank you very much for everything that you do. Here you go. Congratulations. Thank you. And we'll take pictures after we're done with everyone's presentation. But thank you very much, Evelyn. And we're going to kick us, Mr. Weezer. Are you ready, sir?
Thank you very much, Madam President.
Before you start, sir, can I ask our honorees to please stand behind your council member? We should have told you that from the beginning. But Mr. Weezer's honoree, and can the rest of you join your council members as well? Because after Mr. Weezer, it'll be Mr. Koretz, and so on. This is a game of find your council member. Quickly.
Okay. I'll do it after. We'll do it afterwards. Number 52,
Okay, are we ready?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Mr. Weezer, go ahead.
Thank you, Madam President, and colleagues and public. I am very excited to honor here today and Pioneer Woman of the Year to someone who has provided great leadership and a lot of heart to the arts community here in Los Angeles. And I'm speaking of none other than Cheyenne Sauter. Let's give her a big round of applause. Cheyenne is a Los Angeles native and has been a nonprofit professional for more than 15 years. She first rose as an arts leader in downtown LA back in 2000 when she co-created Gallery Row along Spring and Main Streets. While most people have given up on this area completely, Cheyenne believed a nonprofit could bring back its cultural recognition. Thanks to Cheyenne's work, the Los Angeles City Council officially recognized Gallery Row as a district in 2003. And because of this designation, it gave birth to what became one of LA's most popular arts events, the Downtown LA Art Walk. Since 2013, Cheyenne has served as the Executive Director of Art Share LA, a nonprofit dedicated to supporting artists, showcasing art, and empowering the community located in the Arts District of downtown LA. When Cheyenne took over Art Share, the organization was on the brink of closing forever. Cheyenne transformed it into a financially secure resource for artists, patrons of the arts, local businesses, and the city of Los Angeles. At Art Share LA's 20,000 square feet community center, Cheyenne offers classes, exhibitions, events, and private rental space. Cheyenne is truly unique in that she gives artists opportunities they wouldn't normally receive. She empowers artists who are at the beginning of their careers or who don't have the means to pay for representation to explore the limits of their creativity, hone their craft, and develop professionally. Cheyenne has also been a strong supporter of the City of Los Angeles' own cultural programming. Through Art Show LA, she organized a gallery show in recognition of the 6th Street Bridge at our farewell to the 6th Street Bridge Festival. She helped create a new staircase mural on the 4th Street Bridge steps, and she facilitated bringing a mural installation to the Arts District Park. And while all those efforts in support of the arts would be enough to recognize Cheyenne, Art Show LA, she also tackles the issues of affordable housing head-on by ensuring the survival of 30 subsidized live-work lots for artists located in Art Show LA's upstairs floor. Thank you, Cheyenne, for that. So, ladies and gentlemen, Council District 14, Pioneer Woman of the Year, Cheyenne Saylor.
Thank you, Mr. Weezer.
Thank you.
Mr. Koretz and Mr. Bonin, you guys are going to do a joint presentation. Go ahead.
A duet.
Yes. Thank you, Ms. Martinez and colleagues. This morning I have the honor of standing next to two outstanding and passionate leaders from CD5. But first, I'm proud to co-present with Mike Bonin and his selection for Pioneer Woman of the Year in CD11 because his honoree and mine were co-directors of this year's Women's March LA. Emiliana Guerrica has spent most of her life working with girls, young women, and other community members. To her, it's not a job, it's a commitment to helping improve their lives. She truly loves what she's doing, empowering, educating, and engaging. Emiliana, or Emmy, has always had a passion for giving back. She devotes most of her time to advocacy programs for women's rights, Latino education, and gender equality. In 2016, she founded the Women's March LA Foundation, a nonprofit organization, and is the driving force behind the official Women's March in Los Angeles. This year, with her friend and colleague Dina Katz, she helped organize the Women's March LA, where more than 750,000 Angelenos took to the streets to show their stand in solidarity for the protection of our rights, our safety, our health, and our families. LGBT initiatives, youth mentorship programs, and gender equality movements are all causes close to her heart and are a priority in both her personal and professional lives. The impact she has made and continues to make is truly helping to shape a better future for our girls, young women, and for all Angelenos. Emmy is changing lives and making a difference, and thank you for being such a strong leader in our communities.
First of all, thank you, Ms. Martinez, for doing this, and thank you, Mr. Koretz, for co-presenting with me today. When it was time to select this year's Pioneer Woman of the Year, it was shortly after that experience in January, when it seems like all of Los Angeles County showed up within a few hundred yards of Grand Park downtown to say hell no to what was happening in Washington, D.C. And it struck me that one of the co-organizers of that march was one of my constituents, and I'm so proud of Mandeville Canyon resident Dina Katz for the work that she did in putting this together with her friend who happened to live in CD5. So what a perfect opportunity for the two of us to come together and honor two people who did something phenomenal for the city of Los Angeles. At a time when people were angry, at a time when people were lost and confused about what next to do in the wake of what seemed to so many of us like political Armageddon in our nation's capital. Two people got together and said, we know what we're going to do. We are going to come together in the center of Los Angeles, and we are going to say, this is who we are, and this is where the resistance is going to begin. And the two of you brought together people from all walks of life, from all parts of Southern California. And as the mayor said, it was bigger than what happened in Washington, because our hearts and our determination are bigger here in Los Angeles than anywhere else. Dina has spent her life, well, first of all, Dina has a full-time and a half job. She is the producer or executive producer of a bunch of very popular shows. Real Time with Bill Maher, which most of us probably would love to be invited on. Dancing with the Stars, which Mr. O'Farrell and Mr. Buscaino would actually be great on. Celebrity Family Feud, which I think the Wessons would actually be fantastic on. And a few others. But in addition to that, she has spent so much of her time and her energy giving back to the community and to causes, to women, to people who are left voiceless, to the LGBT community. So we want to say thank you to you. And just because I think all of us are haunted by the tone deafness of that photo in the cabinet room last week of a bunch of old white men deciding to take away women's health care, I want to cede a few of my syllables to give you an opportunity to say something.
Thank you. Well, thank you so much. This is an honor. You're right. What started for Emmy and I as a grassroots movement ended up with over 800,000 people in Los Angeles coming down, of all genders, of all races, of all orientations. And I, for one, am so proud to be a part of this city. And I know for anyone that was there, it changed our lives forever. And this is only the beginning. We have a huge fight ahead of us, and so Emmy and I are willing to take the lead and start the fight.
I want to say, Los Angeles, thank you for showing up. Thank you for showing the world what democracy looks like. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Koretz and Mr. Bond, and congratulations, ladies. Mr. Krikorian.
Thank you very much, Councilmember Martinez, and I'm very proud to present Council District 2's Pioneer Woman of the Year, a friend of mine and a friend of many of you who represent the San Fernando Valley, one of the great educational leaders of the San Fernando Valley, Dr. Erica Endra-Jonas, who has been the president of Los Angeles Valley College since 2014. President Endra-Jonas has been the head of one of the largest of the 9 campuses of the Los Angeles Community College District, presiding over the affairs of 19,000 students in the Valley. And she's really turned the place around in many respects. When she came on board, the college was suffering from budget deficits and was struggling in some respects academically. But this has really been a place of renaissance, I think, in the San Fernando Valley. In the course of her tenure, she's achieved a balanced budget, very important thing for me. She's overseen the $626 million master plan for revitalization of the campus. And since Mr. Huizar was talking earlier about the arts, and I know he cares so much about mural art, she also found a home for another important pioneer woman in Los Angeles, the iconic Kent Twitchell mural, which for many years was alongside the Hollywood Freeway. It was lost to us, but it's been brought back to LA Valley College's Student Services Center thanks to Erica's leadership, and that means a lot to all of us. She was one of the founding members of the National Organization of LGBT Presidents in Higher Education, and she is the first openly lesbian president in the history of the Los Angeles Community College District, and has been an inspiration to many as a result. She graduated from Cal State Northridge, but then she got smart and went on to USC, where she's known as a rival of mine for being one of the fiercest Trojan advocates and fans. She completed her master's and her PhD there and began her career in higher education at USC before she went on to, through many, many positions, to this position as president of Valley College. She serves on the VICA board, where she also chairs the education committee. She's a board member of the Valley Economic Alliance, and in her spare time, she chairs the Intellicom Board of Directors, where Intellicom is a nonprofit organization which emphasizes distance learning and making the resources of the college more accessible to a much wider range of people through online learning. And it's a very important way to bring more people in and give them more opportunity. So it's no wonder that in 2016, Erica was also named one of the San Fernando Valley's 200 most influential leaders by the San Fernando Valley Business Journal, and I'm very proud to recognize her as well as Council District 2 Pioneer Woman of the Year. Congratulations.
Thank you, Mr. Clankhorn. Congratulations.
Here, I'm going to give you those to you now.
Mr. O'Farrell.
They look pretty. Thank you, Councilwoman Martinez. It gives me great pleasure to honor my dear friend, Nadine Trujillo, who for years operated Alegria on Sunset, which was the best Mexican restaurant in the 13th District. It had the best chicken burrito known to humankind. And she opened it in 1993 and retired a couple of years ago from the business, but to this day she continues giving in ways that the community benefits from. And toward the last few years of operating that restaurant, I would go in and have my chicken burrito. She'd always bring some sort of homemade concoction that was healthy, like a wonderful tasting drink with ginseng or some other nutrient-filled drink, because she really does have that nurturing spirit and always wanted to make sure that I was well-fed and taken care of. And that's why I love Nadine. So a little bit about Nadine. Born in El Paso, Texas, moved to Los Angeles in 1956. She attended local parochial schools and Los Angeles City College. Working at La Golondrina restaurant on Olvera Street, she then pursued her love of cooking. A self-taught chef, she opened Alegria, as I mentioned, in '93. For years, Nadine provided food donations to schools, nonprofit community organizations, medical facilities, and churches. And even today, she makes up brown paper bag lunches and distributes them from her car. Now, here's some of what Nadine has brought to the Silver Lake community. Bringing the CERT program, the Community Emergency Response Training Program, back to Silver Lake in 2010, where she organized several CERT classes, which were always filled, trained community members in earthquake preparedness and other emergencies, helped coordinate a free Red Cross CPR class, participated in the Greater Los Angeles Homeless Count at Path Services with outreach events in Westlake and Pasadena Salvation Army. As a former member of the Silver Lake Neighborhood Council, she chaired the Public Safety Committee and worked with LAPD Rampart and Northeast Divisions to address crime issues, drug dealing, gang violence, traffic concerns, and improve community relations with the police through town halls, monthly meetings, and events. As a voting member of that Neighborhood Council's Urban Design and Preservation Committee, she also addressed residents' issues and concerns regarding development. And in the Transportation Committee, worked on street lighting, street maintenance, and traffic concerns, always in a constructive, proactive approach to volunteering for her community. Nadine's example of being a community activist is one that should be followed by everyone. An active member also of the LAFD Operations Central Bureau's Public Safety Advisory Committee, as well as LAFD Central Bureau's CERT Committee Battalions 1, 5, and 11. Nadine's energy, her passion, her professionalism has enabled her to take on many projects which have been of tremendous benefit to the communities, families, and children of the city of Los Angeles, which is why I'm honored to present Nadine with my Pioneer Woman of the Year award for the 13th District. No one is more deserving than Nadine Trujillo. Thank you. You're welcome. You got it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. O'Farrell. Congratulations, Nadine.
Thanks.
Mr. Price.
Thank you, Madam President, members. Veronica Melvin joined LA's Promise Fund, formerly LA's Promise, as CEO, president in November 2011. Her passion, her activism, her empowerment, and learning four key qualities that are present throughout Veronica's dedicated work in the fields of education and health for children and families. As president and chief executive officer of the LA Promise Fund, Veronica guides a dedicated, reform-minded education organization with a mission to raise private funds to improve public education opportunities across LA County, while simultaneously leading a network of schools in South LA, many in the 9th District. Known for her organizational leadership and unwavering passion to uplift and empower communities, Veronica is a champion of children and families. She envisions building a kindergarten to college pathway for our students, constructing a career pipeline laid upon a foundation of access to excellent academic, health, and enrichment opportunities. She also understands the needs of schools to provide additional opportunities for students to access enrichment opportunities to ensure every child's success. Veronica has a solid track record of building effective coalitions comprising of educators, students, parents, and community stakeholders who make a firm commitment to work collaboratively to constantly improve educational opportunities for struggling populations of students. Melvin served as Chief Operating Officer of the national organization Communities for Teaching Excellence, and as Executive Director for the Alliance for a Better Community, an organization working to improve the quality of life for Latinos in Los Angeles through systematic policy reforms. Her management role, she has been able and instrumental in launching community-based campaigns to advance issues critical to student academic achievement and success. Veronica earned her Bachelor of Arts in Political Economics and Industrial Societies from UC Berkeley. She earned a master's degree in public policy from the UCLA Luskin School of Public Affairs, and we are proud to honor her as the pioneer woman of the New Ninth.
You just gonna tear things.
You just broke your desk. Thank you, Mr. Price. Congratulations, Veronica. Mr. Rue.
Thank you, Councilwoman Martinez. I am very proud to recognize Lori Jean, CEO of the Los Angeles LGBT Center, the world's largest provider of programs and services for the LGBT community, and Council District 4's flagship social service provider, as our Pioneer Woman of the Year. Lori is nationally recognized as one of the most effective leaders in the LGBT civil rights movement, earning her numerous awards, like when the LA Magazine named her one of the 10 most inspiring women in Los Angeles. Lori has been an activist on LGBT issues since 1979 and has a long career in public service. She's the first LGBT person in history to receive a top secret security clearance from the Central Intelligence Agency, and served as the highest-ranking openly LGBT person in the federal government during her tenure as Deputy Regional Director of the Federal Emergency Management Agency, or FEMA. As CEO of the LGBT Center, Lori has led the organization to financial stability, dramatically expanding their programs, and tripled their budget to $97 million. She's also led the center's historic campaign to build the Anita Mae Rosenstein campus, which is scheduled to open in early 2019. My office is very proud to support this project. Lori is a trailblazer and an icon. I am so proud to call her a friend. Congratulations, Lori Jean, Pioneer Woman of the Year for Council District 4. Thank you.
She sure is. Congratulations, Lori. No, you forgot one more picture. Just do your picture, come on. There we go. Hold on for just a second. Great. Congratulations, Lori. Mr. President.
Thank you. If I could get my two, get close, honorees to stand close to me. Let me again congratulate Ms. Martinez for all that you do. And also I just want to take a hot second to indicate that we try to get things done here on the council, you know, in a timely fashion, but certain things and sometimes you can't rush things. I can't think of too many things that we do that are more important than recognizing the individuals in this city that really make a difference, that really keep this city moving. And this Pioneer Women's Awards is critical, and that's why I love every second of it. Let's give everybody one more round of applause, because this is the least we can do. Now, last fall, I did something crazy. We had a vacancy on the Los Angeles City Council, and I came up with this crazy idea that maybe I could run or manage 2 districts. Now, I will say, for the 7th district, my Valley district, it has been wonderful. But I've done more than just travel the Valley. I've had the opportunity to meet some phenomenal people. So today, it is my honor to present to you as the Pioneer Woman of the Year from the Valley, Cindy Clankhorn. Give her a round of applause to my left. Now, everybody on this council knows Cindy, but Cindy was one of the original members, of the founding members of the Sunland Tujunga Neighborhood Council. Currently, she is a member on the board, the executive board of VANC, which is the Valley Alliance of Neighborhood Councils, and we all know her as the person who runs the Neighborhood Congress. Now, the Neighborhood Congress puts on this huge event where the council chambers are filled and they're standing room only, where they bring in people throughout the city that are volunteering and giving back to the city of Los Angeles, as many are elected members of the Neighborhood Council, and just about all of us on this council, on her demand, appear here to participate in that program. And what we do, we kind of take her for granted, and she runs her own business, a printing business, which many of us did not know. How you find the time to do that, Cindy, blows my mind. But I just want to say that the time that I've spent in the 7th District, I have met some phenomenal people, but you, without a doubt, stand above. Your love for community just kind of beams off of your body, and it's infectious. And so, ladies and gentlemen, my pioneer woman of the 7th District, Cindy Clankhorn. Give her a round of applause. I get to do it twice. Now, for the district that I was elected to represent, it is my honor to present to you a person that for many of you need no introduction. And this is Dominique DePrima. Dominique, a lot of people don't know, started her entertainment, television, radio career in the great city of San Francisco, where she was a television host. This woman to my right has won 5 Emmys. 5 Emmys. 5 Emmys, 6 Parent Choice Awards, the SAG-AFTRA American Scene Award, and the 2012 Courageous Leadership Award from Women Against Gun Violence. Give Dominique DePrima a round of applause. Now, When I first met her, I had just been elected Speaker of the California State Assembly, and she was the co-host of a radio talk show that was a big hit, and that was the Steve Harvey Morning Show. If you know who Steve Harvey is, raise your hand. So let's give Steve Harvey a round of, he might be listening. Also, I found out her community activism she gets naturally. Her mom has been an individual who has fought for social justice her entire life, and it just naturally oozed into Dominique, and we attempted, I remember writing a letter of recommendation to the governor to select her mother as poet laureate. So this is a lady who believes in community, and it comes natural. Many of you, we have a summer program that's in many districts throughout the city of Los Angeles. It's called Summer Night Lights. And this is where crime has gone down throughout the city. Mayor Villaraigosa started this program. Mayor Eric Garcetti expanded this program. Well, Dominique was the first director of this program, and this program was born in the district that I'm blessed to represent, and it was called the Summer of Success, and it's from her good work that has inspired our last two mayors to help provide all of these extra activities for the youth of the city of Los Angeles. Now, today, for the past 12 years, she is the host of the very successful Front Page radio program that comes on Monday through Friday, and it's an early morning talk show. And when I say early morning, I mean when you wake up and it's like you have sand in your eyes early. It's like when you wake up to go fishing early. Her show starts at 4:30 a.m. Mr. Harris Dawson and Mr. Price and I have been on that show. Now, I have had to sleep in the parking lot to make sure that I could be there on time. But for the past 12 years, she's had this program, and you would be amazed at how many people suffer from insomnia and are up at that time and they call in. Ladies and gentlemen, from the great 10th District, Dominique DePrima.
Dominique and Cindy, congratulations. Thank you, Mr. President.
Oh, Miss Martinez, I do want to say the show is on KJLH. Everybody, KJLH. KJLH is the radio station.
At 4:30 in the morning.
Till 6, 4:30 to 6. KJLH.
Mr. Blumenfield.
Thank you. It is my sincere pleasure to recognize the pioneer woman for my district, Council District 3, Barbara Ardalan. Barbara emigrated from Iran to the United States in 1976 with the hopes and dreams of creating a better life for her, her family, and the community. And boy, has she done that over these years. In an incredible way. She studied interior design at Tehran, Iran University and obtained her bachelor degree in arts at California State University, Northridge, CSUN. And then shortly thereafter, in 1983, she embarked on an incredibly successful career in the insurance industry, where she received countless awards, accolades for her tremendous accomplishments in sales and in service and in so much more. She wasn't just recognized within the industry, she became a leader in our community, in the West Valley and beyond. she has been committed to helping others. In 2007, she established an online directory called newpinkpages.com. Newpinkpages.com. Everybody check that out. It's pretty impressive. And it's to promote Iranian American business women. And in addition, and as a complement to that, she organizes and promotes an international business women trade show each and every year to attract thousands of visitors to this cause. And when I say, this is no small feat. I've been to this, you've invited me to it numerous years, and there are thousands of people there exchanging ideas, exchanging business contacts, and it's incredible to see. It's at the Marriott in Woodland Hills, and they just take over the whole area. Furthermore, Barbara created a nonprofit organization called Valued Iranian Professionals Incorporated, where the mission is to help abused women and children. She gives back to the community in so many different ways. She organizes fundraising events and food drives in which 100% of the proceeds go to helping those in need. And as I mentioned, she's not just an incredible businesswoman, an incredible community activist, but she's also been an incredible wife, incredible mother. She married John Ardalan, who I see in the audience filming us here, and they have been a dynamic duo for 38 years. They have 3 amazing children. They do something right as parents as well, and a son who's an attorney, another one who is studying to be a doctor, and the third, their daughter, one of the highest compliments you can pay to a parent. She is working with her mother in the insurance industry. She's carrying on both the professional legacy and the legacy of community service. So through hard work, dedication to the community, and her commitment to public service, she has made and continues to make a tremendous difference in countless people's lives. So that is why I've chosen Barbara Ardalan to be the pioneer woman for the 3rd Council District, and let's give her a hand. All right.
Congratulations, Barbara. Thank you, Mr. Blumenfield. Mr. Buscaino.
Thank you, Ms. Martinez. So here, colleagues in the City of Los Angeles, we value our city librarians under the direction of John Szabo. But this city librarian before you is extra special, San Pedro resident, and runs our children's library section in the San Pedro Library branch. Now imagine this, 200 pounds of books on a bicycle. Well, Anita Kelly, our Pioneer Woman of the Year, not only imagined it, but made it happen. She applied for the Mayor's Innovation Grant, landed the dollars, and put together a bicycle that carries 200 pounds of books that she pedals through our council district, from Watts to the waterfront. And this Anita Kelly has been serving the San Pedro Children's Library branch since 2006, and was born and raised here in Southern California, and has been a dedicated public servant who has been promoting education for many, many years. Anita kicked off her career with Literacy AmeriCorps, a service organization that's dedicated to promoting the staples of a healthy community and throughout the classrooms, education, children's literacy, and anti-bullying, and after her year of service with AmeriCorps, earned her master's in library science from the University of Washington. Anita is an enthusiastic supporter of new and innovative programs and was among the first to present science-based preschool storytelling and helping pave the way for science, technology, engineering, arts, and math programming at the LA Public Library System. She saw students in the community reading below grade level and was determined to tackle the problem head on. And in order to make effective and dramatic change, Anita disrupted the norm and went out into the community and brought the library system to our streets by bicycling 200 pounds of books through Council District 15. That alone deserves a round of applause. She has been recognized for launching the first LA Public Library book bike. She has been seen riding through the streets of San Pedro on her custom-made bike that holds more than 200 pounds of books. And also, whenever our office puts together a number of events and block parties during the year, our San Pedro Skate Festival, our holiday programming, our block parties, you would find Anita pedaling down the street, giving out free books to boys and girls and adults alike. And as a former champion bike racer, she was able to combine her passions in an innovative way to reach and educate our San Pedro community and beyond Council District 15. Her efforts led her to the recipient of the Mayor's Civic Innovation Award in 2015. So whether handing out free books or taking time to answer questions or simply get to know her fellow neighbors, Anita serves as an inspiration and mentor to readers young and old. Her dedication to expanding literacy and access to education materials for all makes her a role model for all ages. And I'm honored to host Anita Kelly in City Hall today as Council District 15's Pioneer Women of the Year. Thank you, Anita. We love you. We thank you. We love your energy and excitement. And we honor you today for thinking beyond the box and bringing books to our throughout the Council District 15. So thank you. We love you. Congratulations. All right. Anita Kelly, ladies and gentlemen. All right. How's that, Betsy? Martinez.
Thank you very much, Mr. Buscaino. Congratulations, Anita. Mr. Cedillo.
Mr. President and Ms. Martinez, as you know, President Trump began his campaign with an attack, an open, blatant, racist, anti-immigrant attack against Mexicans, and it was used to help project and move his campaign forward. Today we have someone who embodies the spirit of Mexican immigrants and immigrants who come throughout the world to Los Angeles, who are part of a diaspora throughout the world that come to make this city the great city that it is. We have someone who is one of our better angels and who embodies in herself an argument against the hateful rhetoric that comes out of Washington. She is someone who was born in Michoacán, Mexico, and came to this country at the age of 15. And as a teenager, she began to get involved in the social causes to protect the rights of women and undocumented immigrants. She attended Palomar College and was a founding member of the Chicano Club in response to the growing Latino student population at the time. She has been a resident in our community of Pico Union for more than 40 years, and she's seen the changes that have taken place. But she didn't sit on the side watching these changes take place. She's not a victim. She is a person who thrives, survives, and has come forward in the Pico Union community. When crime was on the upturn, she organized around her child's school, and she worked hard to organize the entire community of parents around that school. She got 2,000 signatures. 2,000 signatures simply so that they could have a fence around the school so that they could be safe. And she took those signatures directly to the Department of Education in Washington, D.C. After a series of meetings and rallies, protests, engagement of the school district, they finally have a fence at that school. This is a true, organic, authentic community leader. This is someone who comes from the community to serve the community. Service is who she is. This is one of many of the victories that she advocated for at the Leo Politi Elementary School. Currently, she's a community ambassador for the Magnolia Belong campaign. She's part of the Pico Union Quality of Life Committee. She works with the LAPD Olympic Citizen Academy, and most recently, continuing to take things in her own hands, she's a founding member and president of the Brenda Neighborhood Watch. And they have recently assisted the LAPD in the apprehension of a fugitive. She is a woman of incredible strength, courage, conviction, and more so of passion and compassion for her family and her community. She is an extraordinary leader and a great dreamer. Her ultimate goal is to have a community that is safe and secure so that her children can thrive and be all that they can be. With that, I introduce you to Jovita Carrillo, our Woman Pioneer of the Year.
Qué gusto.
Congratulations, Jovita. Thank you, Mr. Cedillo. Mr. Englander.
Colleagues, I know it's been said already that this is one of the longest presentations we have during the year. I actually think it's the most important, and I don't think it's long enough. I was raised by a single mom, and I'm going to come back to that and why it's significant in a moment. But I was also blessed to have two daughters, and so being raised and then living in an all-women household, I can tell you the stories that I've heard so far, and I hear every year during Pioneer Day, it's so inspirational. The women that have really affected my life and has made change and made us a better community, a better city, and a better country. And so today, I'm so honored to represent and present my Pioneer Woman of the Year, Bonnie Klee, our CD12 Pioneer Woman. Bonnie has been a fearless advocate for those affected by the Santa Susana Field Lab, the one in my district that had a near nuclear meltdown. She consistently fought for restorative justice for those who worked and lived near this facility and were affected by the meltdown of the reactor that occurred in 1959 at the site. Bonnie was born and raised in Minnesota with 4 sisters. And after graduating from college, she bought a one-way ticket, one way on Amtrak to Los Angeles to discover a whole new world. Bonnie secured a job at Rocketdyne at the rocket engine maker Rocketdyne in the 60s and in the 70s. 20 years later, though, she started having health problems, like many in that community and many who had worked there. Bonnie was diagnosed with cancer. The doctors directly related to her time working near the nuclear industry. The battle to save her own life turned into a fight for justice for so many others. Those who worked in Area 4 and portions of the Santa Susana Field Lab, and those who lived in the shadows, where the top scientists tested rocket engines and nuclear power for decades. After learning the Department of Labor had denied most of the claims for compensation filed by cancer-stricken workers under the 2000 Energy Employees Occupational Illness Program Act, Bonnie started a war. She compiled letters, press releases, studies, articles, documentaries about radioactive and chemical contamination at the site. She personally delivered the petition to the federal government in 2007, which led to a major victory. In 2009, the National Institute of Occupational Safety and Health granted a special designation for those assigned to the field lab's 280-acre Area 4. In January, this January, they agreed to widen the designation for those who worked in Area 4 up until 1988. Almost 1,500 claims were filed by cancer-stricken employees and their families to the Federal Department of Labor, and so far, Nearly $58 million has been paid out and growing to those families. I come back, she deserves a round of applause. I said I was raised by a single mom. My mom, we lived at the foothills in the shadows of this site. And my mom died of a brain tumor at 50 years old. And that didn't run in the family. My sister died when she was 40. And there's people like Bonnie who dedicate their life after what she's gone through to fight for those who aren't with us. Thank you. My pioneer woman. Sorry. Now you're getting us crying. That's not good.
There's tissue right there in front of you.
Do we want to wipe our eyes?
Sorry. I promised my staff I wasn't going to.
That was beautiful, Mr. Englander.
Thank you.
That was beautiful, Mr. Englander. Thank you. Thank you, Bonnie, for all you do. Give her a big round of applause again. Mr. Harris Dawson.
Thank you so much, Ms. Martinez and Mr. President and colleagues. I am very proud to present the Council District 8 Pioneer Woman of the Year to someone who I'm very proud of and very inspired by, the one and only Candace Hill. Candace is a product of our community, grew up in going to Long Beach schools, graduated from Long Beach Polytech High, began her career in a non-traditional field for young women, becoming a hydrogen technician with Phillips 66 Petroleum Refinery some 10 years ago, became the first African-American woman to operate a hydro treating plant. I will confess to everybody in the room, I don't know what that is, but it sounds like if you don't know what you're doing, you could get hurt badly. So she deserves a lot of props for going into that field. But Ms. Hill came to my attention because she embodies what I like to call the Harriet Tubman spirit. That is the spirit that says we're not going to wait for the government to decide. We're not going to wait for civil war. We're not going to wait for the proclamation, the end of slavery. We're just going to get a shovel and a rifle. We're going to start digging and we're going to go. For years in our community, my neighborhood grocery store on the corner of Manchester and Western has been in such terrible shape that over 15 years ago when my wife and I bought a house there, we decided within the first few months we were never going back into that grocery store. And the union came after the grocery store to try to get them to clean it up. And the store wouldn't get cleaned up. The neighborhood council came after the store. The councilman before me came after the store. I started in on them almost right away when I got elected to city council. But Candace was smarter than all of us. She was shopping in the store and had the same reaction to us, and she took out her iPhone. And she started taking pictures of the conditions at the store, the conditions of the produce, the dirt in the drains, and all the terrible conditions that we all saw in the store. She went up on the internet, on social media. Her pictures got shared thousands of times to the point that all over the neighborhood people were talking about it. People were calling into Dominique DePrima's show. Eventually, Channel 2 News showed up and took their camera around the store, and now, thanks to her Harriet Tubman spirit and her pioneering spirit and her refusal to give up, the Ralph's Corporation is finally spending $5 million to redo our grocery store at Manchester and Western. And they're putting in a Starbucks, which is a big deal. I'm so proud of Candy and our neighborhood because in addition to people like me being able to walk to the grocery store now instead of getting in our car and driving to Inglewood or Culver City or Westchester to get food, now there are little kids that are never going to know your name, never going to know my name, and when they walk in their neighborhood grocery store, They're going to feel like they're an important person because I got a nice store in my neighborhood. I don't have to go to another neighborhood to get a store. And they're going to, every day, think about themselves as more worthy, as more qualified, and as more special. And so for that, we thank you for your tremendous gift to our community, and we are proud to present to you the 8th Council District Pioneer Woman of the Year.
Get Mom in the picture. Yeah, I know. Huh? We're all in shock that you're her mom. Beautiful, stunning, gorgeous. And now we're going to go back to Mr. Koretz. I think he has his own honoree.
Yes. So people are probably wondering, I don't represent 2 council districts. How do I have 2 pioneer women?
Oh, you're Mr. Koretz.
Well,
you get 2 pioneer women.
very lucky. Well, after the Women's March, we felt we had to recognize both of the people responsible for making that incredible event happen. But I had already selected an incredible honoree, and so I get 2 just for this year. So I'd like to introduce and welcome Shelly Wagers. Shelly is a community activist extraordinaire, and since retiring in 2004, she's been very active in community decisions and discussions. But most notably, she took the leading role in the drive to stop the spread of mansionization in her community, which was the Beverly Grove community. And the success of that local effort inspired a campaign to address mansionization citywide, which I legislatively initiated in 2014, but which she was the driving force for across the city of Los Angeles. Shelly coordinated with homeowner associations, neighborhood councils, other community organizations across the city, as well as city planners and elected officials. And she authored articles on mansionization in Los Angeles, appeared in a series of informational videos, testified at countless public hearings. She also oversaw a communications network for the mansionization campaign, or the anti-mansionization campaign, I should say, that combined mass email, websites, and social media. She's also served on the working group advising the city's zoning advisory committee, served in 2016 on a panel on community organizing at the Los Angeles Conservancy's biannual Historic Neighborhoods Conference, and most recently was a featured speaker at an online seminar on mansionization conducted by the California Preservation Foundation, which advises preservation organizations throughout the state. Thank you, Shelly, for your continued support and passionate advocacy in our community.
Congratulations, Shelly. Thank you, Mr. Koretz. And Mr. President and colleagues, to conclude our Pioneer of the Year Women's Celebration, I'd like to call up Janet Evans and Jessica from the Commission. Janet, can you please join us at the podium? We'd like to present to you Pioneer of the Women 2017, 5-time Olympic medalist, motivational speaker, and businesswoman, Janet Evans. Thank you very much.
Yes, I wanted to explain that the reason why the Commission on the Status of Women has awarded Brenda Villa and Janet Evans is to honor the Council and the Mayor's commitment to try to bring the 2024 Olympics to the City of Los Angeles, and these women have been instrumental in this bid. So I wanted to thank them and thank you for your efforts. no one represents better the city of Los Angeles as these female Olympians. So thank you very much. Thank you.
We also like to welcome and bring up Brenda Villa, the 2012 Olympic gold medalist, two-time Olympic silver medalist, and 2004 bronze medalist, Brenda Villa. Thank you very much for being here this morning. Let's look here first.
And just before we close, I want to thank the Los Angeles Housing and Investment Department that houses the Commission on the Status of Women. Have been instrumental in the Pioneer Women Awards. We obviously cannot do it without them. I want to specifically thank Abigail Marcus, who, since she has joined, has made incredible difference in the Commission on the Status of Women, and Debbie Woods, who has stepped in to make all of this happen. So thank you very much to both of them.
Thank you. And colleagues, that concludes our Pioneer Women of the Year celebration. I'll ask all our recipients to please stand up, and let's give them another round of applause. Thank you very much, ladies, for everything that you do to make our city run.
Ms. Martinez, were we doing a photo?
We're going to take group photos in the back, so if I can ask, you want to do a group photo?
I was asking.
We will do a group photo, but we're doing it in the back, behind closed chambers.
Okay. Let's give them one more.
Do you want to do it here?
If you do it here, then all the members could get in. Here? All right, so we're going to recess for like 90 seconds. So if Sherry, you could begin to set it up.
Allow all the family and friends to take photos.
Brenda. Oh, maybe not. Sorry. This is one of your honorees.
You gotta get the shot. It's not easy.
She's not in the picture. Mary, she's not in the picture. Yeah.
Nope.
Sorry, we need to have all the women honorees. Oh, she's behind it. Go where? You need to find a hole. Ya no adentro. Neri. Ah.
We've lived long. Thank you.
Are you ready?
Yes. I'm here for lunch. I'm Cheyenne. Pleasure to meet you.
Okay, you can follow me.
I'm
just want to
Jackie
get
on the commission. Oh, thank you so much. Oh, no, thank you for everything you do. Excited. I was here this minute. I think you are. Yes. Here we go.
We're ready.
All right, we're taking a good.
There's more to take.
So everybody.
Okay, again, Ms. Martinez, thank you for a very great job. Let's start off. I want to call our Madam Clerk here to make some announcements.
Mr. President, there are requests to continue items. Item 2 to April 7th and item 7 to April 4th.
Okay, without objection, so ordered. Okay, why don't we bring up Mr. Walsh? We'll do our general public comment. If I could see his items, 1, 6, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 16, 19. Mr. Walsh, go ahead. He gets his 3 minutes.
Yeah. Nauseating orgy of self-congratulation is officially over. 2 hours. If there's anyone left watching this, I just want you to know that what's happening here is item 1. That's building and safety, where you do a good job. At least you've done a good job for me since 1976. Then we have, going through the agenda, we have Street Furniture, Central Avenue Jazz Festival, good job there. Issuance of $50 million in bonds. The city is in bankruptcy, and you continue to issue bonds. Those are IOUs. And the city hopes that they'll get $1 billion from the Olympics to pay off what's happening here, this total bankruptcy. City Hall Rotundas, special receptions, doing a good job there. Hollywood sign during spring break, additional enforcement The whole city comes. Every gang member comes to Hollywood, to the Hollywood sign. And now you're going to have to defend the Hollywood sign. And you ought to defend it because the Hollywood sign is in very, very grave danger. That's why you're going to have to put in police fund, account number 0001092, and you're going to have to spend a small fortune defending the Hollywood sign. The city is, as you know, is totally out of control. And also, we have historic buildings. The Burger King. The Burger King is our historic building. Nuisance and abatement. I wish we could abate the nuisance. I'm going to let you get away. I finish ahead of time. I don't jerk off up here. So you can have your 39 seconds so that I can get to public comment. Public comment. Okay, vote for Cedillo to re-elect him. Who says we're against all of you? We're only against the scumbags up here, and Cedillo is not a scumbag. Okay, let's talk about the Zika virus. The LA Times had it in the paper the other day. The Zika virus is spreading throughout California. We had the first Southern California baby born with it. They're not talking about the Zika virus, and you know why they're not talking about it? Because it might hurt tourism. Tourists of the whole world, come here, expose yourself to Zika. California is a hotbed of Zika virus. And then all the Olympians of the world, I want you all to come here and expose yourself to the Zika virus. We're talking about Zika virus and this nauseating, growing infection of... I don't give a damn about your awards.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Walsh. Let's go ahead, colleagues, and reconsider item 5. So we'll go ahead and open the roll for reconsideration on item 5. Close the roll and tabulate the vote.
10 ayes.
Thank you. That item is now before us. We'll go ahead and open the roll on item 5.
Mr. President, for the record, amending motion 5A has been posted and circulated for council's consideration.
Fantastic. Excellent. Thank you so much. All right. So now we'll go ahead and open the roll, close the roll, and tabulate the vote.
10 ayes.
All right. That item's approved. Next item, please.
Would council like to go into the special meeting?
Yes, we'll go ahead and open up the special meeting.
Blumenfield, Barnum, Buscaino, Cedillo, Englander, Herstassen, Weiser, Koretz, Krikorian, Martinez, O'Farrell, Price, Rue, Wesson. 10 members present in a quorum, Mr. President.
Okay, we'll go ahead and take the first item.
Items 17 and 18 are items for which public hearings have been held. Committee reports for 17 and 18 have been submitted, posted, and circulated.
Great. Okay, we'll go ahead and take up those items unless colleagues, you have any specials. Ms. Martinez.
I wanted to call both 17 and 18 urgent forthwith.
Okay, we'll go ahead and hold on to that for a moment until we vote on them. Any questions on those? Okay, we'll go ahead and open the roll, close the roll, and tabulate the vote.
10 ayes.
All right, now we'll go ahead and open the roll for the urgent forthwith, close the roll, and tabulate the vote.
10 ayes.
Okay, those are approved. Excellent. Thank you so much. Next, please.
Item 19 is an item for which a public hearing has not been held. 10 votes are required for consideration.
Okay, we'll go ahead and open the roll for consideration, close the roll, and tabulate the vote.
10 ayes.
Okay, that's approved. Thank you very much. So that is now before us. Do we have cards?
There are cards on item 19.
Great. Let's go ahead and take those now.
19.
Mr. Walsh, Mr. Previn, Mr. Herman. One minute.
Yeah, just 1 minute.
So we're considering in CD5 a relative initiating for the West Pico Boulevard Historical Culture Monuments to instruct the burger restaurant to build bigger burgers in CD5 so us pigs can get fatter for the slaughter under the proceeds of Section 22.17110 of Los Angeles Municipal Code. I'm sorry to have this transgender voice today. After all, it is Transgender Women's Day.
Mr. Herman is not on topic.
You're not on subject, so your time, you forfeit your time. Thank you very much. Okay, next speaker, please. You forfeit your time. You're not on subject. So, next speaker, please. Thank you very much. Mr. Walsh, on this item. Thank you.
John Walsh, blogging at HollywoodHighlands.org or J. Walsh Confidential, tweeting at Hollywood Dems. This concerns historic cultural monuments. And we've run out of cultural monuments, so we're now going into burger restaurants for cultural monuments. And this one is at 6001 West Pico Boulevard. And I would suggest, actually, this is a better issue than Pioneer Women. At least it concerns something. And if there's anybody out there left who hasn't turned off the 2 hours of Pioneer Woman, we're 100% in favor of the restaurant. We think we should add a little ketchup, a nice bun to it, and make it an historical cultural monument, because that's the best we're able to do. HollywoodHighlands.org.
Go ahead and start his time. Thank you, Mr. Previn.
Oh, it is, yeah. It's Eric Previn from CD2. And I think in this case, we have a designation being proposed by Mr. Koretz, obviously, who lives in this district. And this is the LA Burger restaurant building. And the exact location for those it's a 1960s walk-up food stand. And the location is over on Pico Robertson area. And this is very quaint. Now, what folks need to understand about this process is that it is typically done for two reasons. One, to protect something that actually has value, or alternatively, for folks who do not want something new coming into the area, they try to designate something to block that, so to speak. So in this case, I think there's no question in Mr. Kretz's mind about which that is, and he has always been, especially on a day when Ms. Wagers down here, he's always been a guy who does whatever serves his current needs. So we do appreciate his effort, and certainly we love hamburgers, so thank you.
All right, thank you. That concludes all the speakers on this item. We'll go ahead and vote on the item now, colleagues. We'll go ahead and open the roll, close the roll, and tabulate the vote.
10 ayes.
All right, that item is approved. Thank you very much. And I believe that concludes the special meeting?
Yes, do you wish to adjourn the special and return to the...
Exactly, yes, thank you. I was just about to do that. Thanks. Okay, so now we're back in the regular meeting. Next items, please.
These will be items called special.
Oh, okay. Mr. Previn, items 8, 9, 10, 12, 13, 14, and 15, total of 3 minutes. Please stick to those specific items or forfeit your time, and then we'll go into general public comment for 1 minute. Thank you.
Sure. What happened to you? Continue item 7? Is that accurate?
That's accurate.
Okay, thank you. So that is the judgment obligation bond item. That has been continued. That is interesting and concerning. Item number 8, thank you to the great Colonel Price for once again bringing forward jazz. Music is wonderful. He has always been a staunch advocate for that work, and we do appreciate it. Item number 9 is the great David Ruiz, a little traffic study. I don't want to underemphasize. This is a $100,000 traffic study, and he's been working on trying to get the balance right between tourists and neighbors in the Beechwood area and all those other canyon areas. And Beechwood Canyon in particular, there's a cafe up there, and he quickly put through a preferential parking district months ago, and that has really hurt that business because they had said, how about meters or something, because now people can't come to their restaurants. So Mr. Blumenfield, I know you're always scanning closely to see what works, what doesn't. This is worrisome, and awkward, in my opinion. Item number 10, we have LAPD putting some more enforcement money into spring break, again, for the tourists up in David Rue's fancy neighborhood, because you got to manage the spring break visitors carefully. So we're spending $30,000 on extra patrols, I guess. It's just a little weird, given all of our concerns. HCID, the homeless group, is having a special reception on April 5th, sir. I'd like you to be there from 4 to 6 p.m. This is a very important time for that group because they're given extra authority for the HHH money that you're all circling around with great enthusiasm and secrecy. Item number 12, we did not hear one word, and yet yesterday we're retroactively covering the cost, which is none, for the awards from the Department of Neighborhood Empowerment Group. This is a great disappointment. Why don't we have an announcement about who won what, Mr. Bonin? Certainly that would be appropriate. And item number 13, we have the Sunland Tahunga Group. This is, of course, a group where Mr. Wesson is holding court. $1,250 being delivered to the Chamber of Commerce. Wait a minute. Doesn't the Chamber of Commerce put money into the city's efforts? This is a big reversal that needs to be corrected. Spring Carnival, yes. We pay for it. Why not Chamber of Commerce if it's their event? Item number 14, we have Mary Martinez on a very, very touching day being, she's putting aside $48,000 to take care of the monthly maintenance in a tunnel in her district. It's a tunnel on Sherman Way. It's not far from where Krikorian on an agenda item is putting up a look at the Department of Water and Power facility that's just a half mile from, not even a half mile, just a half a block from the Home Depot where they do job, people can pick up employees at that spot, but this is the Sherman Way tunnel. So a lot of Sherman Way action, $48,000, that's $4,000 a month. Can we also, sir, Mr. Krikorian, work on the tunnel between, I guess it would be Cahuenga and the Universal Metro stop, because that one is getting some clogging during the morning hour where we now have to park further away because all of the parking has been tuned up for Metro revenue. So that's bad because we want to get people out of their cars and encourage them to use the public transit, but we can't do it if we can't park. So I know that we're working that out and there are some details. And okay.
All right, general public comment for 1 minute. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Judgment obligation bonds are a bitter pill, and I know that you were against them personally. Ron Galperin chirped up, as he does, on March 23rd with a, well, who knows, we may have found some money back, who knows. This has been an item that has been slipped around through the corridors of City Hall in a way that's unfortunate. I'd like to draw attention to the City News Service. This is Inc. This is run by Doug Fagan. He's the kind of leader. They got Craig Clough covers this group, and I think Marty Sauerkoff. Now, these guys are supposed to be covering HHH and all these little meetings. That's why they're installed here on a regular basis. And I would just ask them if they had been paying attention to the committee meetings like the MFC, which is the Municipal Facilities Committee meeting that happened on Thursday, where at item 12, the Korean American Museum, under the great leadership of Jai Min Chang, is receiving what can only be described as a sweetheart deal to make a museum on the ground floor with a 100 units, 90% of which are market rate above it. Now, they're paying $1 a rent, a year in rent. That's not a problem.
All right, thank you very much. So the next speaker, please. All right, Herman, come on up. You're on 1 and 6, then 8 through 14.
(17-0160) S36 and CD3, 21901 West Valencia Street, for the lien of $1,288.56. I oppose, in all regrets. Fuck you. Then I go into item number, on items not heard. So I'm on top. In any canonical order, sir, Mr. Chair? All right, thank you. So, CD4, Mr. Rowe and O'Farrell, funding for the Los Angeles Police Department to provide additional enforcements around the Hollywood sign during spring break. What a fucking waste of money. Now going to item number 11. Of course, Weezar in CD14 and Rue have talked about authorizing Housing and Community Investment Department, HCID, not HUD, to hold a special reception in City Hall Rotunda, which already passed. Hoo, hoo, hoo. Now I'm going to item number 12, CD 14. Mr. Wesson and Weezer, the two lover boys, relative to authorizing Department of Neighborhood Empowerment, called done. You haven't done a goddamn thing to hold award ceremony and receptions in the city of Rotunda regarding homelessness. Now I'm going to item number CD7, motion of Wesson and bigamist, relative to funding the support of the Sunland Tahanga Chamber. I oppose. Fuck it. Go to the next one. Item number 14 in CD6, but item 14 regarding Miss Martinez and Krikorian. Relative to the Bureau of Street Services quarterly monthly cleaning of the Sherman Way Tunnel. Now, how many times have you seen any elected official out with their group cleaning the tunnels? How many? I went to Malabar Elementary, and I didn't see any cleaning with the cleaning people there. So if there's going to be a Bureau of Street Service coordinating monthly cleaning events, I recommend that council have its staff and its members who participate with the neighborhoods. Now on item number 15, rookie, regarding the approval of final maps to adopt the city engineer reports, rookie, detailed in the various listed council files, including bonds. Here we go. We talked about our 45th president. Now I say to the 45th president regarding bonds, hold those bonds until you do an audit as to how these bonds are officially spent in the city of Los Angeles.
All right, thank you very much. Thanks for your time. Thanks for staying on topic on these ones. All right, so now we have 1 minute on general public comment.
Thank you, Dibble Dwarf. Thank you.
Oh, he all of a sudden decided to cry up there because he was giving him such a dramatic award. Well, you know what, sir? There are many other people who are disabilities that have only one parent or something come from a foster home, big ears. And the same thing with Nuri, so grande, talking about women. But in Van Nuys, they're pimping all the children. Yeah, a vocational training, huh? That's what you call it, huh? Hey, city attorney, why don't you get your ass up there and stop all the crimes against children and pornography? That's an issue the city should take care of. I'm not upset. I'm just letting the world know for a fact that as long as there's a secret virus going on in LA, stop all Olympics in LA. You're not safe. You got pimping in Van Nuys by Martinez. You got a puppet show for 2 hours of displaying women's rights. Well, here's my right, attorney.
Thank you for being so compassionate for so many others. Next speaker, please. Antonia Ramirez. 10 and 14, 2 minutes. All right, Herman, you're disrupting the meeting. That's your last warning. Council President already warned you earlier, so take a hike. Sergeant will show you out. Thank you so much. Have a nice weekend. Goodbye. Goodbye. Now you're still disrupting the meeting.
Did you say 3 minutes?
Hold on a minute. No. 1 second, ma'am.
Of course.
Herman's disrupting the meeting. So, Sergeant, if he's not leaving, go ahead and pull him out of here. Come on. You're disrupting this meeting. You're out. Keep going. Stop talking. Sergeant, just please grab his stuff and pull him out of here. He's disrupting this meeting. Stopping this woman from speaking as well. Keep going. You're still disrupting this meeting, Herman. Go ahead. Please, now you're walking backwards as slowly as possible. Go ahead. Thank you. Thank you very much. All right. All right. Thank you. I think your prescription's ready. Thank you. All right, Ms. Ramirez, thank you very much.
Operations at the Day Labor Center only and only if you hire United States military veterans, whether they are active or inactive, uniformed or ununiformed, and legal law-abiding citizens. No wetbacks, no triangle gangbangers. Deportation by ICE at full throttles. Number 5.
We're not on the subject matter, ma'am, so we've already warned everybody. We're going to go ahead. You forfeit your time, but you can get your 1 minute for general public comment.
I'm sorry, I didn't get to finish. That is my opinion. I am rightfully
on the microphone.
Again, you cannot regulate public comments, and you cannot regulate our speeches.
So now you have your 1 minute. You can go ahead. You're a general public comment.
Bitch. The hypocritical Nigerian Christian Pastor Chu Wong and Grace Pam and their incompetent idiot Florence Akuche, who negligently operate the Samaritan Home shared rooms in South Central LA, have failed miserably to cure and combat tenant staff harassment and theft and human rights violations. Further, they have failed to provide a healthy, clean, safe with functional utilities, i.e. Wi-Fi, TV, and habitable living conditions, quiet, peaceful enjoyment for all homeless people, even those of us who are not Nigerian or black. Furthermore, you are subjected to intense harassment, false allegations, false imprisonment, theft, threats, and intimidation, mob lynchings, invasions of privacy, and destruction of personal property, including the toilets and the bathroom walls. And that is done by Jessica, Ebony, Robin Taylor, Yolanda Jackson, et al. These are why several calls were made to the LAPD Southeast Division.
Thank you very much.
Negligent,
that
reckless
concludes your
pastor.
time. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. You want to continue disrupting this meeting? Then you'd be asked to leave. Okay, now you're being asked to leave. Thank you very much. Have a nice weekend. Sergeants, can you please show her out? She's still yelling out. We've asked you not to. Thank you very much. Thank you. All right. Ma'am, you're being asked to leave, not go back to your seat. You need to leave council chambers. You're disrupting the meeting. Thank you, Ms. Ramirez. You're still yelling out and disrupting the meeting. Sergeants, can you please show her out? Thank you.
And just for the
Thank
record,
you very
in case
much.
the mics
She's
are not
still
picking
yelling
up.
out.
Yeah, she's yelling out from the back.
We're
and
still
disrupting
waiting.
the
You're still
meeting.
disrupting this meeting. Thank you very much. Continuing to disrupt this meeting and trespass on this meeting. Thank you.
And she's still shouting.
She's still shouting out as she's pushing her shopping cart out. Thank you very much. Now she's stopped. She's not walking out. Ma'am, come on. Thank you very much. Thank you.
And just in case the mics aren't picking
She's
it
still
up,
disrupting
she's
the meeting.
shouting as she leaves. And Mr. Herman is outside making goat noises that we can
Yes.
hear as well.
Yes, he's grazing outside. Okay, thank you. Mr. Kokorian. One second, please. Can you please turn on Mr. Kokorian's mic? Thank you.
Thank you. For the sake of the record, Mr. President, as we're all trying to focus our attention on Ms. Ramirez's public comment, the distinctive voice of Mr. Herman could be heard making those goat noises and other sounds from outside of the council chamber after he had been excluded from this meeting. He was continuing to disrupt the course of business of this council. So I just wanted to make sure that it was noted, because the microphone may not pick it up, that he was distracting me from being able to pay attention to Ms. Ramirez.
Yeah, and I think since he continues to do that, as he's asked repeatedly and almost daily to leave the meeting as he's disrupting it, but then he continues disrupting it from the hallways, I'd like the city attorney to have a ruling from the city attorney to come back to us to let us know if we can remove him then from the building, because he continues to disrupt meetings even when he's not physically in the chambers. He should be asked to leave the building. So if you can rule on that and come back to us. With that, Mr. Kokorian, I believe you have a special introduction as well.
I do, Mr. President. Thank you very much. And it seems ironic to do it in the aftermath of that, but I do want to note that, as all of you know, the Junior League of Los Angeles for nearly, over 90 years now has been serving the people of our community, especially focusing on issues that are of great significance to children and to women in our community, and have been among our community's leaders in so many areas. And we have a number of representatives here visiting us from the Junior League today. They are here visiting City Hall, visiting with a number of members in order to try to identify ways that they can become more engaged in civic activities and be supportive of the work that we're doing and advocating for the positions that the League has been so prominent in supporting. So I do just want to take a moment to recognize them and thank them for coming to City Hall and visit with us, and thank you for your service to our community.
All right, thank you. Let's give them a round of applause. Thank you very much. And we won't ask you to leave chambers, you could say. All right, thank you. Now we'll go ahead and let's go ahead and take the...
And just for the record, yes. Mr. President, we can still occasionally hear Mr. Herman outside the chamber still making noises. And Ms. Ramirez.
Sergeants, they're still disrupting the meeting while they're outside, so if you can please ask the other sergeants to escort them out of the building. Thank you. Because they're disrupting, we can still hear them yelling in the hallways, and I think the only way to get them to stop disrupting this meeting is to remove them from the building.
The sergeants should at least remove them far enough from the door that we can't hear them in here.
Yeah, well, I don't know what the far enough from the door means outside. All right. So let's go ahead and take vote on the remaining items with the exclusion of 8 and 9. So we'll take 1, 6, 10 through 14, and 16, please, colleagues. If we can please go ahead and open the roll, close the roll, and tabulate the vote.
10 ayes.
All right, thank you. And we've got a special request from the audience on item 16 to move it forthwith, so we'll go ahead and do that without objection. That'll be the order. Thank you very much. All right, with that, we'll go ahead and take 8 and 9 for, we have cards? On 8 and 9. From Brian? No. Different people. Okay, so we'll go ahead and take item 8. Brian Barajas? Okay, so 1 minute for item 8 and then 1 minute for general public comment.
As opposed to jazz music, I direct the listeners or viewers to the LaRouche PAC Live YouTube page, LaRouche PAC Live. Please take a look at our entitled video, Tuning the Mind for the Music
President, the
of
speaker is
Classical
not actually
Poetry.
talking to the
All right, let's go ahead and just start as 1 minute on general public comment. Okay, Brian, you can go ahead and speak to any item you wish now on general public comment.
Thank you. I turned in a leaflet, President Trump revised with President Xi Jinping of China on April 6-7, Mar-a-Lago, Florida. You got to get a sense, why is it that Trump has, in a sense, adopted LaRouche's program for a political process involving the ideas of Alexander Hamilton, or the concept that humans are a creature that must be made in the creation of God Almighty. So, be happy.
All right, thank you. Now we can go ahead and open the roll on item 8. Close the roll and tabulate the vote.
10 ayes.
Okay, item 9, please. George Abraham. And 1 minute, and then 1 minute for general public comment.
Yeah, I'm a Hollywoodland resident, very much affected by traffic of tourists trying to reach the Hollywood sign. 2 proposals I'd like to suggest is, one is that you set a new dash bus going from the Red Line station at Western, going up Western Canyon Road to a new view spot that would lead to a trail just above the Bronson Caves. It's a very good view. That would relieve Beechwood Canyon and also Canyon Drive from a lot of traffic. Also, another suggestion is that you actually close the park to all traffic, have all cars park at Western Canyon Road lot or at the Greek Theater lot, and then have tram buses like they have at Universal Studios, ferrying passengers all the way through the park. It would improve the experience and make it much more enjoyable. It'd be a lot less pollution, and I think people would enjoy it.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, so when I'm going to be recognized for the I have a general public comment.
One more, yeah, you have 1 minute now for general public comment.
Okay. All right. Wednesday evening, I witnessed an elderly man injured getting off the Beechwood Dash bus. He had swollen legs, swollen feet, walked with a cane very slowly. And the reason that happened is because he was extremely fatigued from having to stand for 45 minutes at the stop that also I was standing at. at Hollywood and Vine. The bus is supposed to run every 25 minutes, but Transdev is not complying with the terms of its contract. And so what they do is that if they're late for one run, they'll go to a layover and sit there for a very long time. So I've seen them short circuit the route, I've seen them skip stops, and I've seen them skip runs. And Beechwood residents are entitled to reliable bus service. And so with the injury of this man, I think the situation has escalated to the point that the full council should pay attention and require Transdev to comply with the terms of its contract.
Thank you very much. Okay, that concludes the comment cards on 9, so we'll go ahead and open the roll on 9, close the roll, and tabulate the vote.
10 ayes.
Thank you very much. Now we have one card, I believe, left for general public comment. Leah Chavez? She had to leave? Okay, we'll go ahead and file her card that she was here and had to leave. Thank you very much. I believe that concludes... Oh, I'm sorry, there's another one. Tamara?
Good day, Council. My name is Tamara Case. I'm here to, I think they left. I would like to first off thank Council Member Alfaro and Cortez for introducing the motion to divest LA, but we need the other council members to be on board with moral and standard integrity. And we need to make this a priority, folks, to get this on the agenda. And also, today was a big day for honoring women, and I want to mention that there was no mention of any indigenous women, of honoring them, and I'd also like to mention that we're on indigenous land of the Tongva people, and also mention the conditions that these fossil fuels and pipelines are causing to the indigenous women on the reservations and their conditions. Also like to mention real quickly the resolution HJ 44, which was passed by President Trump, and we need to, how it correlates into the fossil fuel and Bureau of Land Management. Thank you for your time. 1 minute is clearly not enough, but thank you for your time.
Thank you. And that concludes general public comment.
And council has motions for posting and referral.
Those shall be posted and referred. Announcements, council members? Mr. Englander.
But I'm going to do it from here. I was going to say that today is bittersweet, but that would be a lie.
You look good sitting here.
Today's really hard. You know, we all brag that we have the best staff and we compete for that designation. And I'm proud to say that I actually have the best staff. And so it makes it that much harder when one of them grows up and leaves the nest. Stephanie started with CD12 4 years ago. In fact, it was her first night was the LA political roast. And she walked out and said, "What the hell did I get myself into?"
It's true, too.
And over the last 4 years, she's been more than a communications director and a senior advisor. She's become a sister to me, one of my closest friends, somebody who I've learned to trust with my life. We have a lot of personalities in CD12, and in looking at all the staff that I'm so blessed to be around every day, because you're only as good as your staff. I always looked for that one person that had a balance, where a lot of the advice that I get on every issue before I pick up the phone and talk to the press or put something out in the community, I usually, depending on who I'm talking to, whether it's Nicole or John or Ron, it doesn't anybody. And then I look for that, okay, what's that balance? Because they're all pretty extreme and awesome. And Stephanie's always been that balance. One of the most important people we have on our staff is our comms director. They don't only tell us what to say, but how to say it. And they do such an incredible job, and I've had the best. I mean, Stephanie Saporito has been an amazing human being, one of the brightest people I've ever worked with in my life. She speaks 19 languages. She's got like 6 PhDs. And you wouldn't believe this, all the way out of Lake Los Angeles, no doubt.
It's true, too.
From Lake, and there's not even a lake in Lake Los Angeles. Have you been to Lake Los Angeles? They did turn out a remarkable person. I can say that now since I lost the soup race and I don't represent that area. Doesn't matter what they think. But she is, she's been my balance in life for 4 years. And I'm grateful that I've had the opportunity. I know I speak for all of these guys, that you will always be part of our family. There is always a place for you. We love you and only wish you the best. And to you and your husband, only happy memories and future endeavors. The resolution that we wrote, and I encourage all of you to take a look at it. I can't read it publicly, but it's really funny. And they all contributed, every staff member contributed to the writing of this, and it's all a history of our experience with you. The fact that you can name every single horse, and whether they win, showed, or played, or whatever it is at Santa Anita and Del Mar. There's so many talents that you have. Thank you for spending 4 years with us on our staff. And all of us. And from the entire city of Los Angeles and the city family,
Big one.
we congratulate you and wish you the best. Stephanie Saporito. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Englander. Other announcements? Mr. Blumenfield, I think you had one.
Safety announcement, doing a town hall on Tuesday, April 4th, 7 o'clock at Taft High School. And we're going to be talking about issues of crime and crime prevention in the West Valley, bringing in some of the top brass, the Valley Bureau Chief Bob Green and John Sherman. So invite folks who are in the West Valley to come out to that town hall event.
Thank you. Mr. Bonner, did you have an announcement as well? Yeah. Oh, okay. Other announcements? If not, I believe this, we should all rise for adjourning motions. I'm looking on my right, I don't see any. Looking on my left, now I see one on my right. Mr. Price.
Thank you, Mr. President. I've got two motions. First, I rise to adjourn in memory of Mr. Walter Lee White. Mr. White was born July the 21st, 1927 in Dallas, Texas. He moved to Los Angeles in 1958 and remained a resident of the 9th District until 2003. He had 12 children, 6 boys and 6 girls, including my senior field deputy, Loma White. If any of you know Loma, you know that her father, as well as her many siblings, shaped who she is. She has the tenacity and isn't afraid to tell it like it is. Her dad passed away yesterday at 1:45 p.m. He'll be greatly missed by Loma and her surviving siblings. Funeral arrangements are pending. Also, Mr. President, members, I rise to adjourn in the memory of Otto Garner. His son, Deputy Chief Kenny Garner, was the commanding officer of operations, South Bureau, and suffered an untimely death in 2009 at just 53 years of age. Otto was born October the 4th, 1930. He was married to Mary Gardner, for 65 years and was the father of 4 children, Carolyn, David, Kenneth, and Nellie Ann. Mary and Otto met and married during the Korean War on their 60th anniversary, and they were honored by the Obama administration in addition to the Marriage Hall of Fame. Otto passed away on March the 29th and will be laid to rest on April the 6th at the Bakersfield Veterans Cemetery. He is survived by his wife, 3 of his children, and a host of family and friends. He will be greatly missed. May he rest in peace. Thank you.
I don't believe I see any other adjournments. So, Mr. Cedillo.
How could you miss moving to your left?
I did. I thought I already covered everybody, but I see you, so go ahead.
Members, this is a very unfortunate. You know, the city of Los Angeles, I was talking about this yesterday, there are corporations and governmental entities and different nonprofit bodies, but what they really are is aggregates of people. And the city of Los Angeles is an aggregation of people, and it's made up of what we call the city family. And so we lost a young man who was a member of the city family just recently on March 18th. His father is Ramon Barajas, and Ramon is the assistant general manager of Rec and Parks. And so he loses his son, 27 years old. This is brutal. This is really, really horrible. He had named his son Robert from our generation, after Robert Kennedy and Robert Plant, Roberto Clemente and Roberto Arellano. And so he has this son, Robert, who is the kind of adventurous one of your family, the one who would, be willing to stay at the grandmother's house or the aunt's house and be that one that was, that organizes the family theater, that organizes the family sing-along, that does those things. And so he would memorize songs like from ABBA, and he would create these kind of musicals for the family and get everybody lined up and do these performances while everybody else was doing, what other people do. He'd stay back at Nana's house and do these things. He had wanted to be a writer, and he was fascinated with horror stories, so he had a collection of these, those B horror stories, and then he would use that to get ideas to write other horror stories. Unfortunately, he encountered this form of rare cancer. It's called synovial sarcoma, and it affects young people from ages 11 to 25. And so he began to create a journal and a book on his experiences. That book, sadly, will not be finished by him. He had an experience that I'm familiar with. Went to see doctors. Doctors failed to see cancer, didn't recognize the tumors, and cancer takes hold. And so, sadly, cancer did take hold. Fortunately, for the end of his life, he was transferred to UCLA, where he received quality care and had an opportunity to receive services from them after his first surgery in 2013, but it was too late. The cancer had already taken hold. People had failed to diagnose it, and we lost him on March 18th, 2017. It's just, as a father, and all of us know this as parents, we cannot fathom the fact that we bury our children. This is an unthinkable loss and sadness, and it is a loss to the city family, because his dad plays such a leadership role, and people rely on him, and then to lose his son is to lose the fullness of life that Ramon is, because of his love and pride for his boys, which were Ramon, Rudy, Don, and of course Robert, many family members and friends. And so that is a loss for the city of Los Angeles and for our family, and may he rest in peace, this bright young man. Thank you.
Looking to my right again, left again.
Left.
Seeing no further adjournments, we are adjourned.